What's up, guys? This is Chad at All Dogs Off-Road, and today we're just doing a quick intro on a new product for you guys. So one item for us that's been wildly popular for Nissans, both the Frontier and the Xterra, has been our RCKilla Kit. Now, our RCKilla Kit is coil springs, our 3-leaf add-a-leaf and U-bolts, and then optional camber bolts if you don't already have them. That has been a pretty reasonably priced kit, but with the cost of living increases that we're having right now, and also for us even, we're having increases in cost of manufacture that have driven this kit up from, I think it used to be a sub $400 kit when we first started, and now we're getting to the point where when you add on camber bolts, you're just about pushing 500 bucks, which is still going to be cheaper than a spacer lift kit with an aftermarket upper control arm, but we still would like to be able to offer kitting that's a little bit less expensive. Also, we've had a lot of feedback from guys that install our RCKilla Kit, or have at least had requests where they want to keep the overload leaf on their factory leaf pack, but our RCKilla Kit, our 3-leaf add-a-leaf, is not designed to do that. So this has kind of been a conversation for us for a while, and we've come out with a new add-a-leaf. This is the single leaf add-a-leaf, and it will retain your factory overload leaf. Now, this right here would be our RCKilla, and if you shift over right here, this is now what we're calling our spacer eraser. This kit is going to be sub $400 with the camber bolts added on, so you got a decent savings there and puts you in line with a better of the spacer kits that are out there. Obviously not as cheap as like a Amazon specials or whatever, but creates a very reasonable, affordable kit that does not use spacers and increases load carry capacity. So if you're towing, hauling, and so on, you're still improving the rear leaf springs, which are notoriously undersprung on Nissan applications. Guys are going to ask, well, do I want the RCKilla or do I want the spacer eraser? Now, the RCKilla kit, the intention of the 3-leaf add-a-leaf is to take your factory 2-stage leaf spring and convert it to a single stage. And now what I mean by a 2-stage leaf spring is you've got your 3 main leaves up here, and as you flex them down, you get to a point where your 3 leaves engage the overload, and the overload actually acts as a 4th leaf spring, only when it's when your leaf springs are fully splayed out and you get that full engagement. A 2-stage leaf spring is good for, just like the name implies, overloading situations. So say you're going to be towing heavy or hauling heavy in the bed, that overload leaf really stops that leaf spring from inverting and really hitting your bump stops hard. The RCKilla with the 3-leaf add-a-leaf, the 3-leaf add-a-leaf converts your 2-stage leaf spring to a single stage. So you get really nice, really plush and progressive ride quality all the way up to when you hit the bump stop. But it's not going to stop you from inverting your leaf springs or prematurely, giving you an assist before you hit your bumps. Now, the single leaf add-a-leaf is just going to go in between your overload and your bottom leaf spring on your 2-stage, on your factory leaf spring. And it's just going to give you that extra capacity, and it's still going to retain the factory overload so that when you flex the leaf out and you hit that overload, it's still there and it's still giving you that additional capacity. So for the guys that are going to be daily driving or they're overlanding or off-roading and they run a very light setup and they want a nice plush ride all the way up to bump stop, then the RCKilla is still going to be a good choice. That's going to be your go-to. If you're a guy that's going to be towing, hauling, you got like a heavy bass boat or something, you're regularly pushing the limits of a factory suspension, the spacer eraser is going to be your go-to. If you're just a daily driver, there isn't a wrong option here. Both of these setups are going to ride very similarly up until when you engage your overload leaf. So for most of your daily driving, you would probably struggle to be able to tell a difference when you're riding with the same truck, same setup, one having the 3-leaf add-a-leaf, one having the single leaf add-a-leaf. Hopefully that gives you a good idea of the differences between these two kits and when you should run one versus the other, and hopefully it doesn't create too much confusion. So I would recommend, if you're a very light overlander or off-roader and you're just looking for plush ride quality, I would go with the RCKilla. If you're doing more like work truck, hauling heavy, or say you're like a somewhat heavier overlander and you want to keep your factory overload, then do the spacer eraser. As always, everything that you're seeing here is made in the USA. Our leaf springs, our coil springs, add-a-leafs are all made here in the USA, which we very strongly support. Other than that, if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments or give us a call or email or hit us up on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or wherever, Reddit even. We're at all places all at once. So if you need any help or guidance or you don't know which way you want to lean, just give us a holler. Don't be deceived. This less expensive kit is going to be just as good and just as robust as the RCKilla, maybe just a little bit different of a use case. We know things are getting expensive out there. Stuff's getting expensive for us, so we wanted to make sure that people are still able to build up their suspensions and still get outside and have some fun. So thanks for watching, like and subscribe, do all that stuff, and we'll catch you on the next video.